So good morning, everybody, and today I'm going to be talking about the ideomotor responses. This is one of those things that I was actually never taught in my basic hypnosis training, and as I went through and started working with more and more clients, I realized that this was actually necessary. This was one of those things that some of the bigger hypnotherapists at the time were all talking about, and I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. So I've actually included this in the basic hypnosis training because I absolutely think that it's crucial to part of the process. So the ideomotor response is a way for the client to respond with the unconscious whilst in deep trance hypnosis. So for example, if you look around and you see something, then you go and you pick it up and you go and you do it. That's what's known as a conscious action carried out by a conscious decision. You've decided to do it. Ideomotor responses are unconscious muscles reacting where a thought can come into your head, causing the muscle to respond, and it usually goes unnoticed. So that's that time where you're drinking that cuppa and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've gotten to the end of it. Who drank the last one? Or you're eating that packet of biscuits or something like that. It's like, who ate all the biscuits? What's going on here? So that's what an ideomotor response, where the unconscious muscle reacts, where a thought pattern will come into the head. So an ideomotor response can come in the following forms from your client when they're doing their hypnosis. So it can come from a finger movement. They can just move their finger. It can come from a head nod. So maybe they will confirm something. It can come from hand movement, like some people will actually twitch. Some people, even their whole bodies twitch. It can come from speaking. It can also come in many, many different shapes and forms, but these are the main ones or the most common ones that the hypnotherapist will use. But the most common of the common per se is the movement of the finger. So example, you may ask a client to move a finger in response to a question whilst they are in a deep trance. So first place your client into a hypnotic trance. So do your induction, do your deepener and your convincers and all that sort of stuff. And once they've gone through all of that, this is when they'll go into that stage with the ideomotor response. And this is usually used in parts therapy. You can learn more advanced techniques like parts therapy in our modern mentoring. So most of the time, the ideomotor response script is a guideline though. So if you ask a client to move a finger when they get the message or something like that, if they turn around and they go boop and they just put their finger up, this is not an ideomotor response. This is a conscious response. So this is not set in stone. Sometimes you have to actually jazz it up as such and use other techniques in order to get the response from your client. So if, like I said before, if your client just boop puts their finger up, that's not an ideomotor response. An ideomotor response is where the finger will twitch or the head nod will just go very slowly and things like that. That's what an unconscious ideomotor response actually is. So here are your guidelines when it comes to your scripts. Now, all of your responses and everything are available in the manual, so please go and download that in the description. However, if you're watching this on YouTube or on my Facebook page, then you'll have to actually sign up for the course to receive that. So the script guidelines are, when you're ready to go down the stairs, simply nod your head for me and then wait for the response. Be very patient when it comes to the ideomotor because you can't rush it. It's as simple as that. This is not Family Feud. This is not where you whack a buzzer and then you go, bah, this is the answer. This is actually an unconscious response and it takes time to respond. Whilst you are sitting and relaxing deep in that chair, you will become curious about one of your hands. It's as if the hand is telling you to pick me. That's one of the scripts that I use in my pain elimination protocol. I will ask them to actually choose a hand with their unconscious mind, and then that hand will start to twitch. I want you now to feel a twitching in one of your fingers, as if a fly has landed on it. Allow it to twitch in its own time. So that's where you're giving a suggestion that there's a fly on it and it's tickling them and they just want to swoosh it off. We are going to choose a finger to respond with yes now. Allow one finger to create a feeling of urgency in it, like a child that knows the answer and desperately wants to respond. That finger is wanting to raise up and say yes. And then you will wait for the response, because all of a sudden the client will just move their baby finger or their thumb up or something like that. And this finger that will answer yes to any question being asked, do you understand? And then all of a sudden the finger will go up again. It's like, yes, I understand. So take your time when utilizing this technique. At first, your client is learning how to do this, and even if you wait a full minute or something like that, that is completely okay. Even the tiniest movement you must reinforce by saying, "That's right," or "Thank you." So as soon as your client has moved that finger, nodded that head, whatever response they're doing, just say thank you. Thank you for that. That's right. You're doing very well now. Make sure that you enhance that they are on the right path. This is part of your convincing technique as well. So ensure that you are congruent when you're asking for a response, okay? If you're asking for the finger to twitch, then say the finger wishes to respond and it feels twitchy, okay? Use metaphoric language to amplify the response. So your finger will twitch as if a fly has landed upon it. So this is the metaphoric response. This is the story within the story. Erickson used to talk about how when you're in a passenger seat of a car, you sometimes press down on the floor as if the brake was there. This is an unconscious response to stop. The unconscious can respond without you even noticing. So do you ever finish that cup of tea? There you sort of think, oh, I'll finish that off. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's gone. It's empty. I just wanted one more mouthful. That is your ideomotor response. Do you ever have your keys on you when you're suddenly like, oh, I've got my keys in my pocket? Or you've got something in your hand and you didn't realize you had it in your hand? That's an ideomotor response. An alternative method is an idiosensory response. Now, these are great for working with issues like physical pain, and you can work as a great convincer as well. So an idiosensory response is when the client has a sensation rather than moving. So for example, if the pain is worse, answer yes. If the pain is weaker, answer no. You are talking directly to the problem and its representation. So full training on this is available in our modern mentoring. Each client is unique and will experience the ideomotor response as an individual. So ensure that the response is an unconscious response and not a conscious one. If you're receiving a conscious response, just continue with your deepening until the client has that unconscious response actually occurring. So for example, you have to ask your client to nod their head in response, and they do it as if they're conscious. So if you're saying to them, as you go down to the last step, I want you to nod when you're ready to go down into the valley of relaxation, into deep trance hypnosis. And if your client goes like, yep, that's not an ideomotor response, that's a conscious response. So that's when you would turn around and just deepen them even more. Just relax deeper and deeper. Allow your breathing to slow down. And when you're really ready to be honest with yourself, to allow this problem to be solved here today, just simply nod your head. And they will do it very slowly and congruently. Ideomotor responses and idiosensory responses are great and will always receive immediate results when the client is open to change. These are the true phenomenon of hypnosis, and they're great fun to do. So join me in the next video. It's all about somnambulism. I absolutely love somnambulism, and I love somnambulists as well. Say that one real fast 10 times. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, and if you want, hit the bell while you're there so that you can make sure that you get all of our new information and our new videos that are being uploaded. Otherwise from that, have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye. Mwah.